Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We have made it to the 10th poem in Passionate Pilgrim, which remember was a series of poems published maybe without Shakespeare's knowledge, but his name was slapped on it, but not necessarily all of them were written by him. And scholars speculate that this one likely was not. This was probably written by Richard Barnfield, someone along those lines, probably the same person who wrote poem number 8. But this one, poem number 10, says, "Sweet rose, fair flower, untimely plucked, soon vaded, plucked in the bud and vaded in the spring. Bright orient pearl, alack, too timely shaded, fair creature, killed too soon by death's sharp sting. Like a green plum that hangs upon a tree and falls through wind before the fall should be. I weep for thee, and yet no cause I have, for why? Thou left'st me nothing in thy will, and yet thou left'st me more than I did crave, for why? I craved nothing of thee still. Oh yes, dear friend, I pardon crave of thee, thy discontent thou didst bequeath to me." So, an interesting thing about working through Passionate Pilgrim, I would say that I am not an expert on poetic analysis, so I have been trying to find what other people are saying about these poems, especially for the ones that I'm not quite sure of. But I'm not finding a whole lot of analysis in terms of Passionate Pilgrim poems, specifically the ones that weren't necessarily written by Shakespeare. So this one, I'm just going to take my best guess as to what this is about. This to me is a poem about grief. This is somebody who had a friend who died young, who died way too soon, and they are mourning that loss. And whether or not this was a very close friend is maybe a little bit unclear, because the person who died didn't really bequeath anything to the writer or the speaker of this poem. They say that you left me nothing in thy will, which I'm taking that literally. They weren't left anything. So how close they were, I don't exactly know. But by the end of this poem, the speaker forgives them that, because what the person who died left them was their grief. So this is what the speaker gets to hold on to of the person who has passed, is the grief and the sorrow, which in a weird way is something that can still make you feel connected to somebody who has passed, because it means that you're remembering who they were and what they meant to you, and what it was like to have them in your life. So to me, this is a poem about grief, somebody who died too young, and all that's left of them is sort of the hole of grief, the hole that it leaves in your heart. So super happy, fun poem, especially coming on the heels of the one yesterday about Cytherea flashing Adonis. Anyway, it's sort of one of those. And now for something completely different type poems. But yeah, that's poem 10. I'll see you tomorrow for 11. Mwah.